This Ag News Update brought to you by American Implement, indebted to the past, committed to the future. In a moment, KLA President Harry Moser.
When you've had a best friend for over 50 years, you develop a trust. And the Scott Co-op has been a trusted rural friend since 1957. A co-op keeps money in the area, doing business for and with their members. And that helps keep their hometown thriving with keeping money in the community. Scott Co-op is not just an elevator. It's the rural way of doing business. So, when you see an elevator, remember your friends at Scott Co-op. Wolfter Construction and Irrigation has been around a long time, and a lot of folks have trusted them to design, build, and service all sizes of commercial and on-farm storage for grain and equipment. Wolfter is also known for their outstanding irrigation division, where they stock a complete selection of nozzles, regulators, drops, gear drives, electrical, and structure components. Looking for an electric motor? Wolfter has a large selection in single and three-phase. Next time, reach out to the pros who have decades of experience at taking care of business the right way. Wolfter Construction and Irrigation.
And joining us now is Harry Moser, who is from Wheaton and is now the immediate past president of the Kansas Livestock Association. And Harry, Happy New Year. And normally we would do this about a month earlier, but this good old COVID thing caused everything to be virtual this fall.
Yeah, we've learned, just as you and I are right now, this Zoom thing, we've learned to use it pretty efficiently and pretty effectively, really, to get our business done for the year.
Now, as we go throughout the program, probably the second part, we'll talk about maybe some reflections you have on your year as leading the state's largest livestock association. But let's, I guess, talk about matters at hand. Even though it was virtual, business was conducted a little bit different. You had several breakout meetings, and you did set policy for this coming year.
Yeah, we took care of the business end of things. Like you said, all the committees and councils met in Zoom meetings, and any member was allowed to register and take part in those. They brought forward any resolution that needed to be confirmed or new resolutions. And then we had the annual meeting the 17th of December, which we really didn't want to do, but the way things turned out, Wichita and Sedgwick County pretty much shut down their county and limited it to 25 people in a meeting. So it was a good choice on our part not to hold the in-person meeting and go with the Zoom meeting.
Also, it looked like from what we were able to see, you still had good industry and industry alliance partners that wanted to show their support to KLA.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate in that aspect that our sponsors stayed right with us and either funded some of it or said they're going to fund next year. They haven't backed away from it because they understand that too. They're doing business the same way. So we're very fortunate in that area.
What was the biggest challenge, I guess, facing the industry, maybe even non-related to COVID this past year?
I don't know, Ken. I think almost everything was related to COVID, or it seemed like it was. We had some ups and downs, especially with the market and trying to keep the packing houses open and flowing. That was definitely a big part of what happened, and that affected our market and it affected a lot of people. We were busy with our congressional group out in Washington with the PPP and the payments and trying to get those right. So really everything we kind of did was related to COVID. I mean, I'm trying to think of something that wasn't, but it seemed like everything we dealt with this year was with the virus.
And we're going to continue that part of the conversation as you can kind of reflect now. You've had a few weeks after the turning over as your presidency. So we'll talk about that and more. Harry Moser from Wheaton, the immediate past president of the Kansas Livestock Association, is our guest. We'll have more in just a moment.
Would you like to see something done about high gas prices and low unemployment? Western Plains Energy in Campus, Kansas is doing something about it. They're a proud part of Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters, and they employ 38 people and will be adding more following the expansion. Ethanol fuel not only reduces the cost of regular gasoline, it's good for the environment and keeps money right here in the United States while supporting local rural jobs. Western Plains Energy, doing something for the future.
S&S Trailer Sales, with 2 locations in Ness City, Kansas, is where everybody goes to buy or rent trailers. They feature the all-new, all-aluminum Mauer grain trailer with all of the electric options, the easy-to-load detached trailers, and a huge stock of header trailers. At the west location, you'll find bumper poles, goosenecks, and oilfield specialty trailers, along with flat and utility beds for pickups. S&S Trailer Sales in Ness City and on the web, but remember, you do have to spell out the and.
And our guest is Harry Moser from Wheaton, and he is the now past president of the Kansas Livestock Association. And normally we would do this right at the end of their annual meeting in Wichita, but that was virtual this year. And so, Harry, just want to give you the opportunity to reflect back on this year and the year that you were president, 2020, and in December of 19. You got the nice hat, and okay, it was your turn now to lead this organization. And I would guess over Christmas time, you had plans looking for what 2020 was going to be like. It turned out probably a whole lot different.
A whole lot different, Ken. We, starting in January, things were fairly normal. We actually made a trip out to Washington for the signing of the Canadian-Mexican-U.S. trade agreement, which was a good trip for us, and asked to sit not too far from President Trump as he signed that. And then we got into February and things got a little more questionable, and we actually had our last county meeting, I believe, March 9th. That was in person for quite some time. Fortunately, the Kansas Livestock Association has a really good working relationship with Kansas Department of Ag. And when we got into the market troubles and people leaving the packing houses because of the virus, we made sure that those people were considered essential. And I think that was one of the biggest things that we helped work through that part of it.
Go ahead.
And then we worked on through, and the market got tough, and we were at NCBA in August, which was in person, and that was really kind of neat to be able to sit down and discuss these things. And there's a big push in the industry for mandatory reporting. We have, the KLA has a position that we don't want to have the government involved in our markets, and we stuck to our guns and worked through a proposition out there with NCBA. Even with a conversation with Senator Roberts not too long ago, his words to us was, be careful what you want, what you wish for. It's easy to get mandatory pricing, but it might be tough to get rid of it once that goes into place. And so the markets and the workplace and the payments, like I said earlier, I think those were huge things that we were heavily involved in.
What's one thing you learned, not only maybe dealing with the pandemic, how maybe doing this and the effects maybe it had on your operation? Just what are maybe a lesson or two learned that you're going to keep with you?
Well, I think one of the big things, Ken, and I'm very proud of the KLA, but we have a great staff in Topeka. And they were very responsive, I think, to anybody and everybody that had questions for them. And there's all kinds of phone calls, questions, and they did a great job of doing that. I think the other part that was really encouraging to me is our board meetings. We never held an in-person board meeting the entire year. We had Zoom meetings. And I think except for maybe one meeting, we had every board member attend. And that speaks highly for those volunteer leaders that take it very seriously what's going on in our industry.
All right, Harry, as I like to do with these groups, when you get the opportunity, I just, kind of give you a 30-second commercial to talk to folks on why it's important to belong to associations. Why is it important to be a member of the Kansas Livestock Association?
Well, and I believe firmly in these kind of organizations, whether it's KLA or Farm Bureau or, organizations that represent us. We don't have time. Most of us don't have time to go to Topeka and lobby, but we have people down there that watch out for our issues that are going on down in Topeka, as the NCBA does in Washington. We have attorneys on staff that can help anybody, members that have ag issues at no cost. I always broke down our membership. It's $120 a year. And what do you get anymore in this world for $120 a year? $10 a month. And you have representation, and you can have a voice in policy that is set in the industry. Those are huge, huge items. We're over 5,700 members. We're very proud of that. As my each one reach one push was, I was hoping to even do a little better than that, but up 4%. I think there's a lot of strength in our organization, and I think we represent the people that are in our business.
Well, Harry, again, appreciate your service, appreciate your time today to review what happened at the convention, but also your year as president of the Kansas Livestock Association. So thanks.
You bet, Ken. Anytime.
Harry Moser from Wheaton, the immediate past president of the Kansas Livestock Association, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
The cost of everything has gone up dramatically over the last 75 years. With one exception: keeping electricity affordable.
Wheatland Electric, delivering energy for life, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
1030 KBUF brings you agricultural information every weekday. Ag news, markets, weather, and other programming you need to keep informed on your farm and ranch. Find us on social media also. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching.